Hello. I'm gonna tell a little story or something. Okay. The dark night of the soul was under control by a very deep demonic god who created life with thorns on his fingertips, great claws, so the people of Earth would not go out amidst terrifying chaos. And so they traveled and prayed in the dark night. Some of them, they actually saw light, and you could equate that with getting laid. But other than that, there were still people who were in the dark because they actually loved the dark. And so the people who saw the light first, they stayed there. And then the people who liked the dark, well, perhaps thought the demon god they would better be fit to be in the chaotic world, dancing to the song of the spinster of the universe, who goes every which way, yet hasn't been detected or decoded yet. And so one night, this sinister, thing scratched a hole in the lining of the world, in the air before him, and out popped many strange people of all different types and sizes, many of which were dedicated to one thing, many of which were dedicated to another. But as they saw what was before them, some of them were terrified, and actually turned back into that other world that was more in the light. And yes, there they could teach about enlighten things. And then there were others in that group who reached up and saw the eyes of that thing, and were once and irrevocably in love. And that's where they went, into the sky, to dance around in the high, high clouds of the cosmos. It was a state of mind for all. Some like it low, some like it high. And those that saw the darkness as complete wonder just scattered. Some of them just scattered around, and followed their insights. Because I guess you would have to be pretty kind of like that to want to be out in the middle of nowhere and go somewhere. It's like home calling you. But the others, there were some who saw the one who gave them all that opportunity, and those people, they went with the crowned theological being. And as they were in his eyes, perhaps their home was in his eyes. And that was their teacher. And so they traveled around, and they only used him as the backpost to what everything meant. It's like he's the law, I guess, if I'm with him, because they went to so many places that it's remarkable how little they understood. Yet there was a group of them were each so different in their own respects that they could compare the places to each other's differences and understand it that way, because I guess they're all humans, And this giant dragon, this giant dark dragon with the golden eyes, the one that scratched the surface, he was happy and smiled. And he even looked like Puff the Magic Dragon. And he blew out up towards the moon, a very long string of fire. And it was orange and smoky. And then this one guy fell off. He was dressed in purple and brown and had a coneful crown on top of him. He just tumbled away down the tail. Where did he go? I don't know. Well, I think he landed on Venus. And so, yeah, I guess he likes that place and everything. And then the dragon got angry for some reason. But he kept going, and he was like trying to bite somebody because he was goofing off. And then the next one to fall off was dressed in red. Was red. And he is my favorite, I would think. Quite noble. Yes, he kind of just glittered off, you know. And where did he go? Oh, I don't know. He looked up, he looked down, left and right, and he landed on the moon. But the moon just welcomed anyone, he thought, and but the moon taught him that he really wasn't welcome there as much as he thought he was. And so he looked at Earth, but saw so many colors that he didn't understand what was happening. The Earth actually said, well, maybe you should try to go to Mars, because maybe Mars would be cool. But he was like taken aback because he never thought of himself as like a warful man. No, he thought of himself as a peaceful man, a peaceful genius, and that's why he got to go with the big dragon out into outer space. But he said okay, and he went to Mars. Everyone there was merely peaceful, he thought, and it kind of was a question inside him because he was like, these people are supposed to be like hostile or something. And he's like, well, I know why. This one like black guy that was on Mars, he said, it's because you think exactly like us, but since you're one of peace, then you could probably teach us how to be ourselves and go to different places and not disturb others, because we always happen to disturb them, but I don't know why, and it just makes us angry. And so the guy, I'll call him Nick, he was like, fine. And so he shared with them the story of his peace, but mainly to the black guy, because he trusted him the most. And the secret was his gold that he had, his golden colors and his golden bands. I guess they became rich or something. Okay, so the first guy who fell off was a Raja. Yeah. And then the dragon was like happy because he got the two most ornery and crazy people, most powerful and ornery people off his tail. He was like happy and gleeful and like almost stoned. He was like going up to the sun, but then he stopped all of a sudden. He's like, wait a minute. And he looked at the earth and said, I forgot something. And so he made sure that this green guy fell to the earth, and he named him Pan or whatever. He's like, just get off of me, you need to go down there. And so the Pan guy, which wasn't really his name, he just got kind of like flicked off, you know, like whatever. He was kind of angry. He's a really angry guy. But when he got there, he was just like, oh my gosh, I love how this place looks. And he actually landed in the desert, and like, he hated how that looked, but like, the dragon let him see things, so he was like seeing like different colors, like gems and rubies, like he was stoned or something, but they were like really pretty rich visions that he could get. And so he was like in a world in his own on Earth, and then that made him happy, and that sent to the dragon an energy of calm reassurance, of serious righteousness, and the dragon was then pleased. And so, this is when the dragon, went very deep, deeper than he ever had gone, into wherever he went. And there were 3 left, and the other ones were yellow, and black, and blue. The yellow one just couldn't take it anymore. He went crazy because there was just so much information and data. He was sad and he cried and he didn't know what to do. And then the middle one, the black one, he was like thinking. He was like, what is going on? You know, this guy's sad. I usually see him as happy. And then the guy in front of him, the blue guy, who is always full of tears, compassionate, and with a conscience. He leaned towards the dragon and hugged his neck. And he said, "Dragon, we should all go home." And the two behind him looked up. The black one was doubtful, but the yellow one was happy and hopeful. And the dragon, hearing his cry, remembered the blue skies that he once saw, that his first children once saw and lived with him happily. And the dragon said, "You know what? If you don't want to go on into the chaos of the midnight sky, I will take you back to Earth, and maybe you'll be happy there." And then they'll go, "Okay, but what are we gonna tell these people? You know, we've seen so much. We aren't like the first happy prophets, because those people just saw darkness. We've seen like colors and insanity." And so he's like, "Well, just trust your instincts." And then like they woke up, they like appeared wherever they appeared, and there were like 3 men in the desert, in black, and with black cones on their heads. They remind me of the wise men. And I believe they're still searching for that one who fell to Earth, the green one. But he is so far ahead of them that they have to come together as 3 heads and learn what they need to do and stop bickering, in a sense. They have to enlighten them own selves as a group. And then maybe they will find the illusionist, the one who holds so many mysteries in his hand and so many powers, because of the time he was dropped off, or because he had so much time to explore before they. What about the other 2? The one on Mars and the one on Venus? Well, that's the answer. The 3 wise men have to realize that people fight for beauty, which is simply a philosophy that they can think about and rationalize everything with. And so, to find their illusionists, they must ramble about the beautiful ramparts in a courageous iron fist way that a warrior would use. And notice the subtle jealousies of beauty throughout the world that makes blood flow, that makes sex occur. Yeah, and they have to learn about stuff, about seemingly shallow things, and yet to bring their other 2 brothers home, perhaps they will and perhaps they won't, you know, because the 2 brothers, one on Venus, one on Mars, they actually might be the true chaos magicians, because they actually chose to stay in the high heavens of darkness. And they haven't come back to Earth yet. Okay, have a nice day. Bye.